I'm Dr. Christie del Castillo-Hegyi from Fed is Best, and I'm going to tell you how I went from 0 milk supply to 10 ounces per feed in 10 weeks. Number 1, feeding on demand. I fed my baby whenever he was hungry, at least every 2 to 3 hours, 10 to 15 minutes each side. Number 2, supplementing only after nursing. I fed my baby as much as he needed to be satisfied. And one of the most useful tools I used was a supplemental nursing system. I would have this SNS preloaded with the supplemental milk. I would have it taped to my breast right before my nursing session. And as soon as he was done swallowing and showed that he was still hungry for more, I would simply unlatch the tube and let the milk flow. This cut down on time supplementing and gave my body the signal it needed to produce more milk. Number 3, after nursing and supplementing, I would pump about 10 to 15 minutes with a double electric pump. Now, for those who can afford it, wearable pumps can be used to provide that added stimulation. Make sure to do hands-on pumping, and that involves doing gentle manual massage around your breast, similar to manual expression of breast milk, to get maximum yield from your pumping session. Number 4, middle of the night nursing and pumping. Don't skip middle of the night nursing and pumping sessions because the times between midnight and 5 a.m. are the times when you have the highest prolactin levels. In fact, the morning is a perfect time for many women to be able to nurse their babies to satisfaction as well as pump extra after it. Number 5, get 5 hours of sleep in a row. Sleep is important. The reason why is that stress has been shown in studies to be correlated with lower milk supply and later onset of full milk production. Since much of the advice out there is to feed your baby whenever they're hungry at the breast without the help of a bottle, many moms are struggling trying to keep up with a breastfeeding regimen that is keeping them from getting 5 hours straight. The way you do this is to pump extra or use formula for a bottle that can be fed by a partner or family member while you're getting sleep. Number 6, power pumping. Power pumping simulates the cluster feeding a baby does when they are growing and their demand for milk is increasing. This increased nursing can stimulate the breast to produce more milk. You can do this with a plug-in double electric pump or a wearable pump, although a wearable pump may not be as effective as a plug-in pump. There are 2 ways of doing this, either 30 minutes twice a day or 60 minutes once a day. And the way you power pump for 30 minutes is to pump for 10 minutes, rest for 10, then pump for 10 minutes more. You can do this first thing in the morning and the second anytime when it's convenient for you. 20 minutes of pumping, then 10 minutes off, 10 minutes on, 10 minutes off, then 10 minutes on. The best time to do that is in the morning. Number 7, this is something that I did, but is not something I recommend. Galactagogues. I spent a boatload of money on Regland, domperidone, which was eventually banned in the United States due to the risk of fatal cardiac arrhythmias. I wasted money on Moringa, on mother's milk, everything there was that was marketed to increase your milk supply. None of these things work, and all of them took my money. Even the Academy of Breastfeeding Medicine has issued a statement stating that pharmaceutical and herbal galactagogues have insufficient evidence to show that they effectively increase milk supply. Number 8, hydration and nutrition. You can't pour from an empty cup. Although there are no studies supporting the role of hydration and nutrition on milk supply, including commonly circulated recommendations like coconut water and Gatorade, if you're dehydrated and don't have much caloric reserve, that can impact your milk supply. So the minimum you need to do is to make sure you have the fluid and the caloric reserve to produce a full milk supply. Number 9, this is not something I did, but something that happened to me, which is biological luck. A large part of whether you produce enough milk has to do with biological luck. Although I had no medical problems, I had a healthy pregnancy, an uncomplicated vaginal delivery, and my child latched perfectly, I had the biological misfortune of having retained placenta. Now, this is not the only thing. You can have hypertension, you can be a diabetic mom, you can have excessive blood loss during delivery, and having a prolonged pushing phase of delivery can impact your milk supply. Ultimately, nature decides whether or not your milk is enough. Some of it is determined by how you manage breastfeeding, but a lot of it has to do with things that are completely out of your control. I earned every ounce of milk I produced up to 9 weeks, which is when I was able to go an entire day without supplementing my baby. It was only 1 to 2 weeks after that that I passed this retained placenta, and my milk supply more than doubled from 3 ounces to 10 ounces per feed. The point I'm trying to make is you can't control the luck you're going to have. So you need to be prepared to supplement if your baby needs it. And number 10, the most important thing I had to be successful in exclusively breastfeeding by 9 weeks was privilege. That included having savings, having a doctor's salary, having 12 weeks of paid maternity leave, having a supportive husband, having one kid to focus all my time and energy to. My breastfeeding relationship would have ended if any of those factors were not present. And many moms out there do not have all those privileges in line to help them succeed in producing a full milk supply. But my question to you is, was I a successful exclusive breastfeeding mom because I was able to produce an oversupply in 10 weeks? No, I wasn't. My child was not safely fed, and he suffered because of it. You know who the successful breastfeeding moms are? The ones who recognized when their babies needed more than their breast milk and made sure they were adequately fed with formula or bank donor milk. The point of this is to tell you all the things I did, but also to tell you the things I didn't. So take it from a mom who thought she knew what it meant to be a successful breastfeeding mom. Make sure your baby is fed, because fed is always best.